bro? MicCheckM.I.A, and we're here with Tinae's Wealth Management.
Yeah.
Tinae's Wealth Management. I gotta make sure I was saying that right, because I had to get that pronunciation right. All right, so Tinae's Wealth Management, man. That's what's up, bro. Welcome to the show.
I appreciate you inviting me, man. I'm looking forward to giving back a lot. Free game on here, so glad you invited me.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Free game. That's what's up. So, bro, you went to college, man, and got into finance, but what was your degree?
My bachelor's degree was in business administration, but my master's was in business administration as well. I would say mostly my bachelor's I focused mainly on taking finance courses and small business classes that related a lot to my niche. So I did a lot of that during undergrad.
Yeah. All right, that's what's up. So when you when you graduated, man, how did you start, really into the wealth building? What inspired that?
I would say it's actually pretty funny because I know a lot of people say, a lot of these schools around here don't really teach anything about, wealth building or credit or anything as far as, investing. But I'm only here to say, I'm not sure about what they did at Liberty County, but I know when I was at Bradwell, I had two good teams, well actually three. I'll give a third one in there. I'll say one, Coach Will. He was the track and field coach. He taught us a lot about stocks.
I know Coach Will.
Getting in bonds and stuff like that. So I like Coach Will because he talked a lot about that kind of stuff. We don't talk all the time, but we may, comment on something every now and then, talk a little bit about it. I know Mr. Holman, he was the economics teacher I had my senior year. He was a really good, I say he was probably one of my favorite teachers because it was just fun. He always made it fun for people to learn economics, to get candy, snacks and stuff like that. And then the third person I would say, Coach Griffin. I think I'm not even sure if he's still the athletic director at Bradwell, but I know he was the golf coach at one point when I was there. He taught a lot about investments as well, getting in bonds, 401ks and stuff like that. So I would say those are three teachers that I had at Bradwell specifically that helped me bridge the gap with all of that. And really, I would say mostly it came from just the way that, I grew up. So I grew up, I wouldn't say as fortunate as everyone else, but I won't say broke or poor or anything like that. But I think where I saw myself back in the day, I think it all started from when I would say elementary school. I was at Bud and Gwinnett, and I think a lot of kids at the time, it's kind of funny because a lot of kids was wearing like Felines, I think Reebok and all the good shoes, and I'm coming in with Shaqs and all champions and all that kind of stuff. People laughing and stuff like that. But I used to always tell people, even in elementary and middle school, y'all laughing now. But when we get older, y'all gonna see. And I've had classes in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So it was always something I wanted to do. I just didn't, I guess, have all of the resources to get on that. But as I started to get older, I started to learn how to actually get the money and then put it to work. Because I started to become an age where I can go out, buy stock, bonds, and stuff like that. So I was doing a lot of that in high school.
Yeah.
And at the time, at the time when I was telling people, a lot of people thought I was lying, and this even went all the way up into college. And some people used to say, this dude ain't making no money and stuff like that. And I know I was talking about it maybe 2 days ago, where I think when people started to notice I was for real, I think it was 2015. You probably heard of the Greek crisis at the time. I forgot what month it was, but I remember that I had just transferred back to St. Andrews, and I had maybe like $500 to $700. And this is where I really made the most amount of money in the day. I made $10,000 on Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and it was probably another company. I can't remember. I have to pull up the statements. And I had bought some options contracts. This is when options started getting on a lot of apps and stuff like that, and they were commission free. And I made $10,000. And it's funny because the night before I purchased it, I said, you know what? I'm gonna make some money tomorrow. I already know I'm gonna make some money.
Yeah.
And the next funny part about it is, I knew I was gonna get money, and then I had a presentation on it in college about it the next day. So the next day, all the companies I had bought in my personal account flew up. I'm up 10,000.
Man.
I'm in investments class in college at the same time, and my professors even talked about this at the graduation, at the graduation that we had.
Yeah.
And I had made 10,000 just buying these companies, and then I turned around and did a presentation the same day on it in
About
class, and everybody looking at me in class like, "Yeah, this motherfucker really just came in here and showed everybody how to make 10 bands, and it was legit."
Yeah.
So from that day, everybody really started looking at me as the guy that knew how to do these things. And I tell people, I learned that Bradwell.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
what's
was a lot
up,
of
man.
good stuff.
That's what's up. So, high school teachers, and that's a good credit to Bradwell, because I went to Bradwell, and my teachers was not finna be the ones to push you forward unless you was a mechanic.
Right.
But you know, that's cool to hear that. You know, cause I know Coach Will, and he always kind of been on that.
Yeah.
Himself, so that's cool that some high school teachers inspired you to go out and do that. You know what I'm saying? So, after school was done, what was your idea on what it was that you was going to do? Like, did you have an idea on what you was going to do? Or did you just say, man, I'm done, and I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to get towards some money?
That's a good question, because honestly, it's funny because I was good at it when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I did it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't really jump into it heavy until that year 2015. So at the time when I was coming out of high school, honestly, I was just worried about playing basketball. I didn't care about style. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew it. I was good at it, but I didn't really know how good I was because I
Yeah.
wasn't focused on it. I was more focused on playing basketball and stuff. But I think what made me focus more on it in college is because I think it was my sophomore year. I was at Berry College, and I think my coach had brought in maybe one of the biggest recruiting classes. And long story short, I ain't made the team that year, so I was forced to transfer out to another school, so I had to transfer. And that day, I said, you know what, basketball is cool and all, but that was probably the year I said, I'm just gonna go to college, use the scholarship, pay for the school, and just focus on building. So from that point, when I went back to St. Andrews, I said, I'm just gonna focus on not so much my brand, but just trying to show people. Because by the time I was out of college, everybody started knowing I was legit already because I had focused so much on it. So I really wasn't so much focused on basketball anymore. I started focusing on putting together things, trying to show people how to really get money outside of college. Because honestly, I was a broke college student. I ain't have a car and all that stuff. So I had to really, I bought both of my cars from scratch, no money, straight off of what I learned from credit and investing, straight from Bradwell now. And I got my first car, and then I started focusing on just trying to get everything I could together. That way, when it was time for me to start TWM, I was going to have everything together. So I started focusing on that a lot more in college rather than just trying to play basketball the whole time. Because I already knew I ain't trying to go to the NBA. I'm not going to go to the NBA. So you might as well just focus on your brand, what you good at. So that's when I realized I need to stick to my niche, because it was my upcoming senior year. That's when I realized that too. And I said, yeah, I'm going to have to jump in on something because I don't really know what I'm good at until I realized, you might as well talk about the stuff you was doing back then because people be asking you. So that's how I realized that's where I need to be at.
That's what you need,
So it came to me just like that. It was that simple.
So then it became the wealth management, wealth building type of environment that you was building around yourself. And from there, did you advise somebody? Where did you go from there? Was it just, okay, well, I'm gonna focus on myself and I'm gonna do some stocks and I'm gonna buy into some stuff and I'm gonna try to flip some money here and there? Or did you start advising folks?
Right. That's a good one. So I think where I first started off, I started off by talking to people, just briefly telling them a little bit about what I do.
Yeah.
A lot of people shot me down because they said, man, this dude don't know what he's talking about. This dude, 19, 20 years old. They not listening. Even the adults was not listening when I'm talking about. I'm 19, 20. These people ain't taking me serious until I was about 25. So it took 5 years from that time for people to take me serious. So at that time, I said, you know what? I'm gonna just start stacking for me, and then when I get older, they gonna convert because they gonna see the hard work that was put on for the years, and then I'm gonna just throw it at them. That way they can't deny it because they gonna say, well, this dude putting this in front of us, so there must be some validity to it. And then I started taking more classes, and this is how it really happened. We had another class with investments when I was in college, and we beat everybody in the class in the stock market competition. So I think we blew out people by like $150,000 in their portfolios, and people like, this dude, who they cheated basically. They thought we were cheating. They ain't really say we were cheating. Like, really cheating.
They felt that way.
Yeah, but what they ain't know was I was on the team. I've been doing this since high school, and my professor had already knew because I had him in a previous class.
Yeah.
So he's sitting up there, and he said in the little graduation thing, he seen the smirk on my face because he knew I didn't want to laugh, but I already knew he was gonna win.
Yeah.
So from there, when people started having his investment classes, he was just like, look, I know a dude that can really put y'all on as far as investments, and he started sending people my way. So when Professor Freeman started telling people about me, and he probably don't even notice, I know he's somewhere on my Facebook, I don't know if he's watching the video or not, but as soon as he started sending people to me, everybody else started hitting me up. I started getting basketball coaches, soccer coaches. At the same college I go to, these are coaches contact me like, yo, I heard about you. Can you show me? Then the coaches started hitting me up, players started hitting me up, random people started hitting me up. Then when I really launched TW and it started to do numbers, I would say towards the end of 2019, because I launched halfway through 2019. So once I started putting out videos and all that, that's when the real volume started to come in, and people said, okay, now this dude being for real. So once I started going more legit with it, writing books and stuff like that, solidifying the brand, a lot of people started realizing, okay, we done seen him do this in college. The professor done already done vouched for him. Everybody else is shopping with him. We see the testimonial. So then it just started to get easy, because now I don't have to put out flyers or promote. I could just make a random post and somebody gonna eat it up or contact me just based off of the game that's just being given out. And the good thing is a lot of it is free, so you don't even have to pay for it before you even think about reaching out to somebody. So you're gonna see the proof before you even think about contacting. Because the last thing I want to say, you go on social media now, you see a lot of these fake accounts. All these people saying they're doing Forex, and there's a lot of people from here and other places that get mad because I tell people the truth about this stuff. So there's a lot of people that don't like me because I go out here and tell people, don't do that, because that person gonna get your money and you ain't gonna see nothing from it. So I try to help people save their pockets. That's why I go out and post all that stuff, because you'd be surprised at the number of people that's trying to get in your pockets versus actually trying to help you. That's why when people call me, I always try to probe and see if I can really help them before I try to take something out of their pocket. Because in this generation now, I always tell people, long before all these Forex dudes started coming, all these people they say finance gurus, there was a Da'zjon Tinae. And nobody listened to him. They thought he was crazy. Or they thought he knew everything, but nobody wanted to take the game. But like I said, you got a better chance talking to me than most of these other people out here, because they just try to get your money. I'm just trying to give you it for free, enough until you need me. But what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of this is just buzzwords and I guess a lot of new hype. So you really got to know exactly who you're dealing with. So I like it because it's just easy to put people on stuff. You really ain't got to do too much, but just have the best interest for somebody. So it's simple.
That's what's up, man. So you give out free game, but you're not giving out the gold.
Honestly, I give out the gold because, like I said, I know the other month I had told, like, I might post out some gems, like I told people on the whole crypto wave. Y'all need to watch this. This is a good one I want to say for the camera too, because everybody on social media talking about this new Shiba cryptocurrency and all that stuff. You probably even heard about it yourself. And everybody talking about, man, get on Shiba, get on Shiba. I'm not knocking the crypto, but I always tell people, I told people, and I posted my trade confirmation on Facebook, I said, man, 700 shares. Bought it. It was like September. I was at Disney World. I woke up. $2,200 richer. That's the whole trip paid for right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And some people like, how did you know? I'm like, I mean, you just gotta look at the charts or just watch my posts. That's all I can tell you. Like, I'm giving you the game. But what people don't realize is a lot of this stuff on social media, it teaches you how to chase the hype. It don't teach you the actual fundamentals that I teach in the book. It doesn't teach you how to analyze how to actually go about purchasing something, how much you need to buy.
How to actually read the stock
Exactly.
market versus just trying to be a part of it because you're hearing what's
Exactly.
going on.
Just like when you talk about stocks, people think of GameStop, they think of all the AMCs, all the new buzz stuff that just popped out. But nobody talks about the fundamentals. That's what I teach. It's just like playing basketball. You got to learn the fundamentals. If you don't learn the fundamentals, you're not going to be good. You're not going to make money because you're looking in it for the wrong things. And that's what a lot of people are in it for, which is why I go on social media and tell people, stop doing that. Because you're going to mess your money up following a lot of these people that don't really have the best interest for you. Because 2021, this ain't like 2010 when I first started.
Yeah.
When I started in 2010, nobody was on this. But now everybody is. So it's like, is everybody misleading you? Is it hype or what? But that's why I always tell people you got to take it back to the fundamentals because that's where you make your money.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think of the financial standings right now that we currently have, in, like, you know, in America, period? Like, the prices of stuff is going up,
Right,
and things of that nature. Being someone who deal with stock, would that be a time to probably jump in and be involved because the price of things have gone up?
right. I shared a post. It's from Brandon Beal. He's on my Facebook. I think he's the brother of Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
But he shared a post today about inflation being above 6% today, and I shared it and I said, this is why I was telling people back in March 2020 to buy stock. I know I had a guy come on my Facebook. He was actually a financial advisor. I think he was at Northwestern Mutual. This guy said it was suicide to buy stock. Stock down over 37% for the first time. This is like 2015 lows from the Greek crisis.
Yeah.
So I already had the experience, like, people need to buy now. So I usually told people at that time, you got to buy because you're not going to see stocks down 37% just like that,
Yeah,
like in
no time
2-3 days.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you got to capitalize on that moment because one, inflation is high. They're giving out SBA grants, PPP loans. People not thinking, they think, oh, this free money. Yeah, you think that. But inflation up 6%, the job gave you a 2% raise. Who really made money?
Yeah, they made it back.
Yeah, exactly.
They gave you anything, they made that back real quick.
And I try not to make people feel bad, but I had a buddy who said, oh, they gave me $1 raise at my job. And I just broke it down to him. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm glad they, I mean, it's $1. It helps you beat inflation a little bit.
Yeah.
But that ain't even 5%. It's 6.4% right now. And it was just 5.5% when I published Financial Management for Couples. So it's still going up as we speak. So that's just going from all the SBA, PPP, all that stuff is depreciating the dollar, which is why I say you need to invest now. It doesn't have to be stock, because some people say, well, I ain't got $100. I'm not asking you to have money. I'm just asking you to hedge against the dollar. You could buy bonds, treasuries, they're risk-free from the government. I talk about this all the time in videos, because people say, my job doesn't pay me a lot, I don't have 401k. Well, if you don't have 401k or you don't have an IRA personally, you can still buy investments from the government. Treasury bills, notes, bonds. They're short, intermediate, and long term. So you don't have to worry about having to lose the investment that you put in because you're already going to get the money back. Or you could do like I did when I was in high school. I bought savings bonds. Savings bonds, you can get a specified interest rate on the savings bond. Of course, you got to pull up the charts and everything so the rates can change. But at the time where I bought in, I got in at a good, I think I got a good opportunity at it because I was a lot younger then. But a lot of them are set to double in 20 years. and you get interest on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying you'll make money on them, because a lot of them, you're not really going to make money on them,
Mm-hmm.
but you can at least keep up with the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
And that's my point.
Okay.
So people that have thousands of dollars sitting in their savings account, I always tell people, if you got a lot of money just sitting around and you know your tire ain't gonna blow out or something crazy gonna happen to where you're gonna need it, put it up somewhere, because if you're not right now, just think about it. The post said earlier, if you had $80,000 salary, that's really like $77,000. That, just imagine that same number for somebody that's on the lower end side. That's a big drop. Somebody that make 80K, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But for somebody that makes 35,000 or less,
Yeah,
that's a big
yeah,
jump, because
yeah.
that's 6%.
Yeah, to lose that amount of money, yeah.
Exactly.
Because they tell you, you might be at your, living paycheck to paycheck at that amount of money,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people are happy about a lot of the stuff that's going on, but like I'm saying, if you get in PPP, SBA, even food stamp money, try to find a way to manage your money to where you can have some extra cash to invest. Long story short, because the money that you're getting, that's depreciating the dollar. And like, I feel like personally, they're trying to, I'm not saying switch over to currencies or anything like that, but I think there's a reason that they're trying to convert all. Even the Staples Center changing to crypto.com doesn't surprise me today.
Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me.
It's a lot of rumors about the crypto money and the electronic money really taking over. I mean, me myself, I own a barbershop. Most of my barbers, they use Cash App or some type of app, and it's like, I don't know, you can't exactly cut the bank out, but I use that more than I use my bank account. So it's like, it is electronic,
Right.
and it's electronic without even much of a sign up. It's crazy. You can see everything changing.
Exactly. Exactly. It's changing.
changing.
Go places. Even today, even in Florida, some places are saying you still got to come with the exact change.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a coin shortage. I'm 100% positive.
Nah, it ain't no coins.
They don't want to spend the money because the price is. Because think about it. What are pennies made out of? I don't know what about all these commodities
Copper.
are made out of. But copper. If you actually go pull up the pricing charts on these indexes, they all went up. It's not that there's a shortage. They don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
Because look at gold. I told people 2019 buy gold. Nobody listened. Oh, you trying to stunt?
Yeah.
No, it was $1,200 an ounce. Now it's over 17.
Yeah, it's expensive
and
now.
it hit over 2,000.
Yeah.
That was my point, and it hit all-time highs, which means it's never happened. So how did I know that in 2019 prior to it happening in 2020? PPP, SBA, food stamps getting increased. You got crazy child care credits. I be paying attention. I'm not saying that stuff is bad. Just use that money and invest it, because that's gonna be even better for you.
Yeah, because the government, they gonna always get their money back. No matter how you slice it, no matter if you got government money, they gonna get that money back.
Exactly.
Some kind of way. And like you were speaking on earlier, the inflation is just like a huge tax on what was given out. Like,
exactly.
We inflate on food, but we're gonna give you $700-800 in food stamps. You know what I'm saying? We'll inflate on the cost of houses and cars and stuff like that. But at the same time, we got PPP loans or SBA loans for a person who want to start a business. They don't even have a business. You really want to start one, and now you can go get that money and start a simple business and use the rest of the money for whatever. So they getting it back. They getting it back, man. That's an interesting point, man. We was actually talking about that one day. That's an interesting point. Now let's get to your books right fast, man. You got a couple of children's books that I've seen, but you got some financial books on the table. Let's let everybody who's checking us out know what financial books are.
So I have 8 books so far. I would say The Essentials of Good Credit was my second book, and The Principles of Stock Market Investing was my third. Recently, I published Financial Management for Couples, because one of the reasons I published that book was because I see a lot of people on social media talking about, oh, if you the man, you gotta pay this, or if you the woman, you gotta do this, and da 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 da. And I'm telling people, yo, that's cool. Y'all learn that, but y'all do realize the dynamics don't work that way for everybody. No matter what you say, or what your grandparent or your mom said, because everybody's different. I might not manage my funds the same way as somebody because I may be able to do more than somebody else or less. So you really have to understand the dynamics. So I put that book out for people to understand that point and then learn how to respect their spouse when it comes to money, because that's one of the biggest leaders for divorce, and we can look that up now. And then the other book that I recently put out on the 13th this month, I put out 2 this month. The first one was the relationship book, of course, and the second one was the It's a Start a Small Business. I put that out because I had a lot of people that direct message. Sometimes I can't even message people back because I get so much, and that's why I tell people schedule an appointment. But I put that book out because a lot of people started making sole proprietorships, LLCs, and I'm like, okay, people asking me questions on this. I may not be able to give somebody a consultation, but I can at least put out a book that's more affordable that they can get access to if they don't have, let's just say, the money to get that. It's $9.99 ebook. That's going to tell you and get straight to the point how to start a small business, and not only that, how to get access to business money. Because I posted a video a while back that went viral. It was on the $15,000 SBA grant. Now everybody on the internet, they just saying DM me, and you know I'll get it for you. But what people don't realize is that's not going to get you the 15,000. I got the 15,000, so I'll tell you how to get the 15,000. You have to have a legitimate business. You have to have LLC. So whatever you are, register correctly. Have revenues, have your cost of goods sold, know your numbers. Because a lot of people just want to start businesses and they say, well, Da'zjon, I want to start this business. And I'm trying to get the money so I can start. You're thinking it backwards. You're supposed to create your business plan, create the budget that you potentially have that would deal with what your projections could be, map out your target market, know what the industry is looking for. But you're not doing that. You just have an LLC, an EIN number, a business bank, and now you're looking for money. That's the average person. Keep it 100 with you. And I tell people all the time, and I'm blunt with them too, because I want them to know I'm not faking like I'm a corporate dude. I'm gonna tell you, you didn't even try it. Because I be looking at people, I be like, did you try it when you did this? Because you're not gonna get funding if you think this is gonna. Because I tell people, there's thousands of people that get LLCs. If you just do the basics, what separates you from the next person to get grant money? I'm not giving somebody grant money because they came to me with an LLC. That just told me you paid $100. That's how I look at it as a consultant. You paid $100. You didn't try to do the real back end work. So I put the book out to give people the specific guidelines on what to do to get the funding and the business credit established, because most people think you could just start a business and get access to loans, but you're not even on Duns and Bradstreet, or you don't know where any of that stuff is. So I put it out there to give people the specifics, because a lot of people nowadays just give you the runaround or just tell you, oh, do this, I did this, but really they're milking the system, and that's just going to come back and haunt you later on when you get audited. So I teach people how to pass audits, and not only that, you're building a sufficient business that's not built on scamming or just strictly based on you trying to get the funding. You're doing it the legal way, and that's the way most people should be.
Yeah, but you got a lot of people with what's been going on, and trying to, I'm not gonna say dip into the scamming side of it, but they're trying to really handle their business that way, and there's people that's trying to gain financially by helping people and do it that way, so that they can get money on the back end as well. You see what I'm saying? So I see what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying as well, because legit way is always gonna have you with a continuous streamline towards the money, versus doing it in a legal way. You always, wondering what if, what I'm saying, and you got that possibility of getting caught, and if you do, you owe that money.
And a lot of times, people aren't even doing it purposely. Sometimes they just jump into it because somebody told them.
Yeah.
Now you're uninformed. So when the IRS looks at it, they're just looking at it as, you ain't give me these documents.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, what is this? What is that? I'm like, you signed up for that loan and you don't know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get real specific with it so people don't miss the little things, because a penalty, messing around with this ain't like personal credit, like personal taxes. You might mess up something small, you can go back and amend that. But if the IRS sees you had a business account, first thing they're thinking is you're either trying to finesse the system or you're trying to get over, and they're not having that. And them penalties are a lot more stricter for business people versus people that just have regular W-2s and nothing else to submit. So I try to give people the specifics on staying out of trouble with the IRS, because really that's what you need to stay out of. You don't want to deal with the IRS.
Nah.
Do it the legit way. And if you don't know it, hire somebody that knows it, because you can still end up in the same situation as those that are trying to finesse it just by reading a simple Facebook post and just trying to attempt it without even thinking. So you may not even have bad intentions, but you can still end up in that same predicament. And I had plenty of clients that have been in those situations just by not paying attention. So that's why I always pre-empt people. Make sure you pay attention, because this isn't personal anymore. This is business. So IRS, you go to, this is federal problems
federal,
here.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to make small mistakes. So
You'd be in jail somewhere.
exactly.
About
So
that small mistake.
that's the big picture of it, just looking at it from that spectrum.
Oh, okay, that's what's up, man. So what inspired you to write some children's books, though, man? Along the way, you write these financial books.
I thought about it one day. I think I was talking to one of my buddies, and I was like, man, instead of just doing credit and going on the internet, talking to people about things that they can do, what's another good way to really get people to really jump on board? And the first thing we thought of was, it was the same time, kids. Because a lot of people have kids nowadays. We're older now. So a lot of people want to make sure their kids come out, whether it's going to college, making sure they have a savings. It could be a college, 529 plan or something like that. It could be something simple, but just something that gives parents a way to where they can educate their kids, because a lot of parents still say the same thing too. They may not know it, and they may want to teach their kids because they're younger. And the younger you start, the easier it is for you to grow into it. Because people like me, I didn't learn until I was like 17. So Warren Buffett started at like 8.
Yeah.
So just imagine somebody that started out.
I noticed it, like what you just said, just like in sports, that's becoming a thing. Like I've seen people having they got kids, their kids 8, 9, 10 years old, they already trading stocks, and they teaching them. They already taught them how to do it. So I seen a guy on I think it was Instagram. He had like a video of his son trading stocks. He was a kid. He was a little kid. I've been trying to get into stocks, and I'm looking at it myself, and I'm like, man, you got to know what you're doing, man. You just can't throw your money out there all crazy, because I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, I don't know what this. I could see it going up and down, but I'm dumb to it, But here it is, this little kid understanding, so it can't be that difficult.
It's a lot simpler than people think. What I usually tell people, just stick to the basic advice a financial advisor would tell you. Find a simple index fund and just buy it consistently over a frequent time, whether it's every month, every 2 months, every week. Just stick to that one fund, because statistically, if you buy an index fund that's S&P, Vanguard, or something related to one of those type of funds, you're going to at least get you 10% a year on average. That's at least 10%. And that's being nice, because last year the return was 15 on average. So that you could really make some long-term money, not even really knowing too much, besides dollar cost averaging the same investment. So you don't have to go out and buy 20 or 30 different stocks. You can buy just one index fund, and you can just buy that one thing over and over. So it's not complex. You don't have to put a lot of money into that once. You can just stick to that one simple strategy. buy once every 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, and just keep it simple like that. Because they say if you did $5,000 in the S&P 500 in 2012 when I was a senior, I did the math. It said it'd be $26,000 today, and that's not including dividends. So it'd probably be closer to 30.
Yeah, 30,
realistically speaking, or maybe 29, 30, 31, somewhere in that ball range. So I usually say look at it from a long-term perspective, because you could just dollar cost average every year. It's going to compound eventually, and even if there's a crash, which most people are afraid of, it doesn't matter. If a crash happens, now you're buying when it's lower. So you drop your average price and you'll make more on the way back up. So you never have to really think too much about crashes either, because most of us, even if you're 50, you're still considered young on the investment spectrum.
Yeah.
So market can crash at 50, who cares? You're expected to live at least 20 more years. The market's gonna rebound way faster than that. So you just gotta look at it from a long-term perspective versus social media's way of telling you get in on
Short
hype.
time. You
Exactly.
gonna make this money. You seem to have wealth and knowledge of this, you know what I'm saying? I can tell by the way you speaking and how
Right.
you know, let the people that's watching or the people who will tune in later know how to contact you through social media or however, you know, to get however they need to get in touch with Tinae Wealth Building. TWN. Tinae. I said it wrong again, my bad.
Nah, that was the first time.
That was the first time.
I would say the best way to get in contact with me would be through through our website. That's Tinaes, TINAES, WM.net. You can send a message to the chat. We got plenty of representatives that'll get back to you. Or you can contact 904-708-8082. Or you could just add me on Facebook, Da'zjon Tinae. You'll pretty much find my profile on there. It's pretty easy to find. But those are some good ways you can contact me. But I would prefer you reach out to the business phone, because I always keep my phones on me. And social media, I don't really go through my messages as much because it's flooded a lot. But if it's a good day and I see it, I'll definitely get back to you as fast as I can. So, good ways to contact me.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Tone, did you have any questions?
You was talking about you get the game free on your social media.
Yes, sir.
Do you sell online courses?
I don't sell online courses. I did at one point, but instead what I did was I created a platform where I can actually get people to just subscribe to the platform, and you basically get into my little group chat where I have it set up. It's really organized. Like, it's real from like introduction videos, and it breaks down specific topics on key points. So videos and things like that, and call outs or things people may have questions on. So I did it more like that. So yes, but it's more of a free type of thing.
Okay.
So you can reach out on the website. We'll definitely put you in that. Or we sometimes have free sessions every other weekend where we just get a bunch of people that trade, and we may do some live trading, or we may just talk about some things that we see that may be trendy. So if we see things, we just talk about it. We trade live, and anybody can really get on. It's free. It's not like you have to really pay for it. So just join whenever you see it.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I mean, but obviously you found a way to financially make that work for you. You know what I'm saying? It's a business and it's financially, but you're doing a lot of free things for people. So, but you know, I know you also do a lot of investing. You do things with mortgages and all that stuff. So it's a whole it's a whole financial spectrum for a person, like you say, wealth building and planning and all that. So I mean, that's good, and the people that check you out, they will definitely find that out, man. You know, so that definitely. I appreciate you being on the show.
One more question.
Oh yeah.
All right, so when people think of a financial advisor, you normally associate it with somebody who who's coming to a lot of money and they want to know what to do with their money. What about the average Joe Schmo working 40 hours a week and some overtime, and he has a little bit of his change left over at the end after he pays bills or whatever? Can you help those kind of people too? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. I usually say those are the best people that I like to work with because a lot of financial advisors, they charge crazy rates, like 150 to 200 an hour. Now I can understand some people's reasons for charging that, but it's just like I'd rather charge somebody $35 to $40 for just a consultation for an hour and a half. That's more effective to me because I can get out what I need to say in that time without having to whack somebody for the amount. So
right.
most times I think it's hard for people, and this is a good question too, because a lot of people can't actually afford financial advisors. So I usually say if you can't afford one, that's where you can either go to YouTube or you can find a good consultant that may have a decent hourly rate that could at least be able to work with you, because a lot of them are gonna try to hit you with something crazy unless you got like a job that gives you, like I have Fidelity, so they give me free advising, but I'm my own advisor. I don't really need that.
Right.
But for the average person, if you don't have 401k or something,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to pay for it. So I say good ways, either contacting me directly for a consultation or getting in contact with somebody on YouTube, because
Yeah.
that's how I learned on top of what I learned in school. So it's
Right.
it's a really good platform for people out there,
Right.
especially if you want to learn.
Oh, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, man. Yeah, man. Once again, man. Hey, it was a pleasure having you on the show. I like the fact that you're a young black guy in the financials. I love seeing that because we don't teach our kids enough about being financially independent.
Right.
And I just think that's where poverty and stuff amongst black people, I believe that, and probably even Hispanic and Mexican folks that,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying, at certain levels of people, I think that's where we kind of falter a little bit with our kids, is that while we worried about how ends gonna meet, Timmy, daddy is teaching him, listen man, put your money in the bank. Okay, you turn 8 years old, I'm gonna get you a bank account. Here's how
Right.
you sign the check.
Yup.
You know, and he 8 years old learning that, while our 8-year-old is in front of the TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is that type of stuff. So I just think that you know, a credits to us not being able to have that what is it called? Generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Generational
Right.
wealth, man.
That's
So
true.
yeah, once again, man, TWA. Make sure y'all check out
WO?
TWM. Man, I'm tripping. TWM, Tinae Wealth Management.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm saying it crazy, but anyway, man. Like and subscribe, man. At the bottom, leave us a comment, man. Reach out to Tinae. Talk to him about wealth building, man, wealth management. And he's gonna help you, man. He has a wealth of knowledge. So make sure y'all get in contact with him on Instagram, Facebook, or just go ahead and, like he said, go to the main website and get in contact with him, man. This is MicCheckM.I.A, man. We signing off. Like I said, like and subscribe at the bottom. Leave us a comment. Let us know what's going on, what you like about the show, what we should do different. And we'll see y'all next time. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Appreciate that.